Hi, you ready for another story? Well, tonight we're going to read one called The Two Builders. It's based on a parable that Jesus told. It's written by Melody Carlson. Are you ready? Both of these two men have a job to do, a house to build, and to live in too. One will choose to build it right, but the other will have a horrible fright. A fright, that's right. One will not build it right. Meet this man. His name is Nick. He wants a house, he wants it quick. And so he builds right on the sand. He says, no problem, this house will stand. To stand on sand? Nick does not understand. Now here's a man, his name is Joe. You might think he's slow because he wants a perfect spot, a solid rock to plot his lot, a spot to plot a fine rock solid lot. Well, Nick is fast, Nick is quick. He builds his house of fancy brick. His roof is made of finest tile, and he steps back with a big smile. He smiles a while, but only for a while. Joe is working all alone. It's not easy to build on stone. He takes his time, he does it right. Sometimes he works into the night, that's right, all night, but Joe will do it right. Neighbors come, and it is fun to see Nick's house in the bright sun. Nick paints his trim perky pink, and when he's done, it makes him blink. He blinks at pink, but does not stop to think. Joe works hard and carefully. Sometimes he even works prayerfully. At last, he's finally done. He watches his house in the setting sun. He's done, and now he'll have some fun. The next day, Nick sees the sky. He runs inside and says, "Oh my!" No sooner does he close the door than those black clouds began to pour. They pour, and then they pour some more. Joe's in his house, safe and sound. He knows it's built on solid ground. He hears the rain, he hears it pour. He goes to sleep, and he does snore. It pours, Joe snores, and then he snores some more. Nick is worried. Nick feels sick. Maybe he built his house too quick. Maybe it's true a house won't stand when it's built upon the sand. Won't stand on sand. That wasn't what Nick planned. The storm is nasty. It is wild. Big winds blow and waves get riled. Floodwaters rise and start to splash. Lightning strike and thunder crash. Boom, bash, big crash. Floodwaters make a splash. Things look bad. Nick sees trouble. Soon his house will turn to rubble. He watches at it as it falls, kersplat, tumbling down until it's flat. Kersplat, it's flat, it's gone. And that is that. The next morning, Joe gets up. He goes outside to walk his pup. Last night's storm sure was rough, but the rock-hard house still stands tough. It's tough enough to face the fiercest stuff. Joe is worried for his friend. Could this storm have been his end? He hurries to the sorry sight and finds poor Nick in a big fright. A fright, a sight. Thank goodness Nick's all right. Nick says to Joe, I understand, I see it's foolish to build on sand. I'll build on rock, just like you do. A house that's solid and right and true. I'll do like you on a rock that's solid and true. Joe helped Nick. It didn't take long to find a rock big and strong. And if you're smart, you'll find one too, and build your life on the one who's true. He's true to you, and he will see you through. You know, we get so impatient sometimes that we want to take shortcuts, that we want to take the easy way out. Sometimes we just don't have the patience to do what's difficult. But Jesus says when we take shortcuts, when we don't put in the work that we need to put in, it's like building our house on sand. And sand is soft, and sand won't hold up when we really need it to. He said what we really need to do is build our house on something strong like rock. And sometimes that's harder work, and sometimes it takes longer. But if we do that, our house will stand. The rock that Jesus talks about is faith in God. Storms come. Bad things happen. Scary times happen. We all get scared sometimes. And all of us have to suffer through bad times when things don't go our way, when people don't do like we want them to do, when things don't turn out like we want them to turn out. But if we've built our house on the rock of faith, that is, if we stay committed to God, if we continue to follow God's teachings, even when it seems hard and difficult, and when it takes longer than we think it ought to for things to turn out like we want them to, we will have a house that survives every storm, because God is more faithful than we can be. God is one we can depend on all the time, no matter what. And nothing can separate us from the love of God in Jesus Christ, because Jesus loves us this much. So build your house on the rock, not on sand, and God bless you. God bless you that you remember always that you are the beloved child He created you to be. Good night.